Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for this month's edition of Ask the Experts, the Nutrition Edition. My name is Lisbeth Irish. I'm a registered dietitian, and I will be your host today. I work for the New York State Department of Aging, Office for the Aging, sorry. And I am also the program manager for older adults SNAP-Ed program in New York State. I have Amanda Curtin today with me, and Amanda is the nutrition educator for the New York State Office for the Aging SNAP-Ed in Montgomery County. Amanda, can you share a little bit with us about your background and the type of SNAP-Ed program you're doing in your region?
Yeah, I am Amanda Curtin, as Lisbeth said, and I am the SNAP-Ed educator in Montgomery, Fulton, and Herkimer counties. So right now we are busy actually doing some in-person workshops again. So we are doing our Eat Healthy, Be Active community workshop series and also our Eat Smart, Live Strong workshop series. So we are busy and things are moving and we're getting prepped for some exciting things for the spring and summer.
Wow, great. Well, a lot of things to look forward to. And there is a lot going on even in the winter months in your region, it sounds like.
Yes.
Well, Amanda's going to share some of her expertise around how to maintain our health goals during the winter months. But I do want to ask our audience to share any questions that they might have in the chat, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. So feel free to put those in at any time. So Amanda, take it away.
Awesome. And there we go. All right, so we are going to talk about how we can maintain a healthy diet during the winter months. Let me just close this out here. So typically we all feel like we want to curl up on the couch with a bowl of chips or maybe some cookies or anything sweet and delicious.
Yep, I can relate personally to that, even though I'm a dietitian. It make you kind of want to just curl up and maybe have a little more goodies than you should.
Absolutely. And also how we can stay active during the cold winter months. So of course, again, when we want to be cozying up, maybe watching our favorite Netflix show or, favorite TV show and just lounge until the nice warm weather comes, we should be trying to get and stay active as much as we can. Mm-hmm. So does our mood in the winter make a difference? Mood does seem to change the way that we eat. So why is this? So mood, there is a couple of different factors that we can correlate with this. So serotonin, typically referred to as the happy brain transmitter, sometimes decreases with shorter, darker days, which we find common here in the winter months in the Northeast. And obviously, of course, the further east you live, the shorter the day. So it can be more challenging for us to get outside and get some fresh vitamin D from the sun. And then, of course, vitamin D offers a variety of health benefits, typically referred to as the sunshine vitamin, but it does many jobs in the body, such as helping absorb calcium and phosphorus, so supporting bone and teeth health, helping muscle function, and of course, allowing the body and brain to communicate through the nervous system. It also is important in helping support our immune systems, fighting off those awful evading bacteria and viruses that we find so common in the winter months as well. So when we see a deficiency in vitamin D, sometimes we can see that in relationship with the decrease in serotonin in the body as well. It is always a good idea living in the Northeast for us to have our vitamin D levels checked. If you are or at risk to, with a vitamin D deficiency, it's always good to talk to your doctor about maybe some possible supplementation if needed. But there are some great food sources that we'll talk about in a couple minutes that provide some great natural vitamin D that can offer that support.
So some foods do seem to make us feel better. Why is that?
Well, some foods can elevate our moods. So for instance, carbohydrates may increase our serotonin levels temporarily. And sometimes, especially in the winter months, we may not be eating the nutrient dense carbohydrates. So they will, it can get a little out of control and cause those dips and spikes within our blood pressure or our blood sugar. So for instance, trying to snack on a whole grain carbohydrate. So something like whole wheat toast with maybe some cinnamon, some dairy product on the side, maybe like some low fat yogurt with some berries to offer the antioxidants. And for instance, this gives us the carbohydrate from the milk, of course, that contains the milk product, and of course the protein in the yogurt. But that also has some vitamin D, calcium, some B vitamins, and also that whole bread typically will be enriched, which provides a good source of B vitamins and iron, along with fiber and all those other great minerals needed.
So it sounds like if you pick a wise carbohydrate type snack, it might be a better substitute than that cupcake we saw.
Yes.
Nutritionally speaking.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so for vitamin D, the average daily recommendation for older adults is anywhere from 600 to 800 IUs. Adults over the age of 70 require a higher amount. Again, this just happens as we age. The way that our body processes vitamin D, especially from the sun, it can be, it gets, challenging as our body ages. It's not able to work as efficiently. Of course, as we mentioned, there are some great food sources that contain vitamin D. So milk, fortified breakfast cereals, fatty fish. So examples might be trout, salmon, tuna are good options. And then of course, egg yolks, beef liver, and some cheeses may contain some small amounts. But with all of these food sources, the greatest, in my opinion, would be milk. Most of or all milks typically are fortified in the US, and this also includes plant-based milk for our lactose and free friends. So typically soy or almond or oat milks are also fortified, but usually it is important to consider that foods made with milk may not be fortified with vitamin D. And so of course our other sources will be sunlight. So when our bare skin is exposed to the sunlight, our body makes vitamin D. As we age, the ability for our skin to do that does reduce. So even just a few moments outside in the natural sunlight is really good. I know it's hard in the winter because it's chilly, but this, unfortunately it doesn't work if you're, sitting by a window or anything like that. You do have to get the direct sunlight on your skin, but it only takes a few minutes to really offer some good support and some get that vitamin D going. There is no specific sunlight exposure recommendation. Again, this is a variety of different factors. So as we age, our skin type, the season we may be in, and of course, location. So it varies person to person, similar to any nutritional recommendation. So it's always a good idea to find what works best for you. And it is important that if you are going to spend, of course, a significant amount of of time out in the sunlight, you do want to put on your SPF. But if it's just a couple minutes, it is good to get that vitamin D. When it comes to supplements, vitamin D is found in most multivitamins or multimineral vitamins, but it is also available on its own standalone dietary supplements. If you are concerned about your vitamin D levels, my suggestion is to have them checked and then speak with your doctor about what supplement might work best for you.
Sounds like a good idea. Yeah. It vary from person to person, of course.
Absolutely. When it is more than just a feeling, of course, in these cold winter months, but in any time, please contact your medical provider or call the 988 number. There are some mood disorders that can happen in these cold winter months: seasonal affect disorder, depression, bipolar disorder, and then of course other medical conditions such as thyroid, poor nutrition, chronic diseases, etc.
Yeah, I think that's important because sometimes the winter months might magnify something that's already kind of there, but it might make it worse. And it's important to reach out to your provider or call 988 if it's a crisis.
Does the cold weather influence how we eat? I would say absolutely.
For sure.
The process of eating actually and digesting food can actually increase our body temperature. So eating does make us feel warmer. It would be natural when we are cold, especially in these cold winter months, that our body may be signaling for us to eat as a way to keep warm, even though we may not actually be hungry. And food provides calories, and calories provide energy. So it's important that as those calories are being utilized in our body, that we are providing it with good, sustainable energy to keep us warm and keep our body temperatures, especially in these cold weather days. Some good tips, I think, here to that may make you feel warmer when eating. Trying warm foods and beverages, soups, hot cereals, oatmeal, tea, coffee, and then also, adding a few more layers or dressing in, maybe some sweaters or something that's a little heavier that may keep us warmer. You can find a lot of great recipes, a lot of good soup recipes on the SNAP-Ed New York website. And that is a great resource for any recipes, but there are some really good wintertime chilies, good idea for keeping warm. Lisbeth, do you have any other nutritious foods that you can think of maybe?
No, I think what I try to do myself is, even though eating makes me feel warmer, I try to not, I try to use warm foods themselves, not just eating to keep myself warm. Because that would just be, free for all if I was just eating anything to stay warm.
Yes.
If I eat a little bit, but it's also warm temperature, that helps. And soups are a great way to get in, some things that sometimes, we neglect, like vegetables, hot cereals too. Sometimes you can put some fruit in there that you might not ordinarily get. So you can increase the quality of your diet as well as staying warm. So yeah, I try to make sure that the foods I eat kind of are doing double duty, keeping me warm and keeping me healthy at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I try.
Fueled and ready to go. Especially in these cold winter months, many of us are probably getting together, whether it be holidays or even, this weekend with the big game, those social situations. How do we avoid overeating and going crazy at the table there that everyone brings an amazing dish usually. Offer to bring a healthy snack or even a side dish that you enjoy, and that maybe it won't be too tempting to go for the heavier dishes or something that may not be as healthy. And then of course aim for moderation. Try not to do an all or nothing. You don't want to feel like you're not able to enjoy yourself or enjoy the foods that your family and friends may be sharing. Just maybe don't take as much as you may have in previously. If you're eating out, sharing a dish with somebody, or even splitting it when you receive it and asking for a to-go box when you get your meal, so that you can take half of it home, may be a good option, so that you're not feeling like you need to eat everything in front of you. Something like dry January. I know a lot of people, that like to do this kind of as a reset for the new year, giving themselves just a little bit of a break to be more intentional and mindful of the foods that they're eating and drinking, so that, they can kind of reset for the new year. And then, of course, trying to shift the focus from food to enjoying those around you. So enjoying the time that you are spending with your friends and family, whether it be celebrating, holidays or birthdays, anything like that is a good shift to making it enjoyable without the focus on the food.
Yeah, there's a link that we might be able to put in the chat that has some ideas for recipes for the big game. And they come from the SNAP-Ed New York website, but they specifically are kind of snacky foods for enjoying with an event. And that dry January, I know a lot of people have found that an opportunity to reduce the amount of alcohol that they drink. It may not eliminate, but it just kind of is a reset button. So maybe, that goes into February too, sometimes, and just keeping it going.
Yeah, it can be a nice, a little bit, I don't want to say a wake up call, but really be making sure that you are being mindful and aware of what you're eating instead of unaware of it. And, it's just kind of something that's easy to, whether it be a drink or, that snack when, we're sitting in front of the TV and you just keep snacking and then you realize the bowl's empty.
Yes.
So just that mindfulness is definitely really good to start off the new year and kind of reset and, get back to where, levels of moderation that suit you or make you feel good.
Yeah, sometimes when I go to a family event and there's a lot of food, I'll kind of make a deal with myself. Like I'll have one dessert and, a smaller amount than I might ordinarily want to have, but it's still, I'm still enjoying it because I'm going to be eating a lot of other things too. And I do bring something I really enjoy with me, sharing, so that, I have a choice that I can overindulge in a little bit.
Yeah. How can we make half your plate fruits and veggies in the winter? And why should we try? This is always really great and, really important to kind of remember with this My Plate graphic is to really try and focus on ensuring that we're really trying to incorporate fruits and vegetables all year round and not just in the summer months or when it's warmer. We can still incorporate them even when it's chilly. So some good ideas here, especially in the Northeast. Sometimes it can be challenging for produce, but to buy in season. It can be more cost effective, and it can even maybe give you some different options that you may not have purchased previously to try and see what you might like. It also helps too if you can buy locally. You never know, what you can find and what new things you could try. Canned and frozen are always good alternatives to fresh as well. It is important to just make sure that we are rinsing our canned goods, depending on what they're in, but always good to have on hand, especially in these winter months. Broth-based soups is a good way. You can always throw extra veggies. Making a nice homemade soup. If you do buy a canned soup, I had somebody in one of my workshops the other day. She said that she loves to throw extra vegetables into her canned soups in the wintertime. So they don't go to waste, and she's able to kind of beef up the soup a little bit. Trying a meatless Monday, or whether you want to do meatless Wednesday or something like that. May be a good way to incorporate a plant-based option versus an animal. Dried food, so raisins, cranberries are always good choices too in the winter. Again, depending on where you are, it may be difficult to get fresh produce in the winter months, so the dried fruit would be a good alternative. You could even try to make your own fruit chips if you wanted to, if you had the time and you wanted to give it a try. I don't know if anyone else has any ideas, or Elizabeth, if you have any other ideas.
No, I use these ideas myself. We try to use produce that's fresh, but we use canned beans and we rinse them off, both for the sodium content and just because they tend to be better quality when you rinse them off anyway. But to reduce the sodium, and you can get about a third off. Is what the research has said, a third of the sodium can be reduced. And sometimes you even see low sodium or no added salt canned foods now more commonly than we used to. And sometimes they don't even cost more.
Yeah, you can even find, a good store brand.
Yes.
That is just as, cost effective with those kinds of options as well.
Yeah, and some things are, frozen foods can also be helpful if you don't like chopping up things. You can get them sometimes, like broccoli, you can buy it chopped up and add it to a quiche or scrambled eggs or something like that. Also more convenient in some ways.
Yeah.
Saves you time and money. Yeah. So these are great ideas. And I think, I'm sure there are more ideas, but sometimes just, a few new ideas can help you. Oh, somebody asked, use your veggies from dinner in your egg omelet for breakfast. Yep. We do that. You can put about anything in an omelet or scrambled eggs. We have asparagus in the refrigerator right now that we're going to use for that. And there are some other questions. Most of them are around vitamin D, so we might pause for a minute.
Okay.
And go to those. Does sunscreen block the vitamin D effect?
Yes. And that's why, of course, if you are going to be in the sun for a long period of time, you do want to wear SPF, but you do not, sorry. You do not want to stay out there for super long, but 5-10 minutes may be just enough without sunscreen for you to get the vitamin D that you need. What were some of the other ones? I know I see one from, is vitamin D sunlight different from the vitamin D3 supplement? They're all different forms of vitamin D. Lisbeth, I don't know how deep you want me to get into that.
Well, I think the important thing is that you have a source of vitamin D in your diet or sunlight, and then have it perhaps checked, by your doctor if they think your doctor thinks that you're at risk for maybe being low on vitamin D. And then, trying to incorporate more vitamin D foods in your diet and using a supplement maybe if you need to. Again, talking to your medical provider about it. Vitamin D3 is a very active form, so it can, help for people who can't be exposed to sunlight or, there's some sort of barrier. I know where I live, it's pretty darn cloudy most days. So I do take a vitamin D supplement because I need to for my health, but it's a very individual thing. Is there any more vitamin D questions? I think I saw.
No, I don't.
Oh, what do you do if your vitamin D is not being absorbed so levels stay low? That I would talk to your doctor about for sure. Your medical provider would be able to maybe do additional testing to find out, what the reason behind that is. And sometimes a registered dietitian can help you. Sometimes vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin, so it requires a little bit of fat in your diet to be absorbed. Most of us have plenty of fat in our diet, so that's not an issue for most people. And vitamin D supplements are often in an oil-based capsule. So it's something that you really would want to check with your medical provider again.
Great, thank you for helping me with those questions.
Well, it's a team effort here. We make sure everybody gets their answers.
So how can we stay active in the winter? We have a few different ideas. I know, anything really, any little bit helps. So, some examples here, we have, lifting some small weights. Maybe you like to do Tai Chi or yoga. Some stretching exercises are always good to help, especially with balance and your muscle strength. Maybe you just want to put on your favorite song and dance around your house, or dance while you're, cleaning up or doing the dishes. You can always invite your friends over. Maybe you have children or grandchildren, or maybe even a pet. You could take them on a walk, play with them in your yard. Maybe they like to play fetch. So, you can throw a ball around the yard while they run around and check it. But, even with the cold weather, finding a place to walk inside. So, sometimes malls are good layouts usually for people to kind of get a good few laps around. You can always check on any good sales. Maybe that might be happening, but it's some always really good ideas that you can do, especially even in the cold weather.
Yeah, I do a mix of things. I usually try to take walks. You have to really bundle up sometimes, but I dress in layers in case I have to, I warm up and I have to take, some of the layers off. I do small hand weights, but you could, use, those canned vegetables you buy.
Yeah.
Extra weight. And I also do balance exercises. I stand on one foot while I'm waiting for a coffee to brew, and then, alternate back and forth. That's a good balance exercise. You want to make sure you have something to grab onto in case you don't have good balance.
Yes.
You can improve your balance. They've done studies on that, and that's important to make sure you don't fall. Falls can be, a big problem, especially as we get older. Our balance does decrease. So you have to kind of, keep it going by doing some balance exercises.
Yeah. Well, as everyone heard, I have a dog, so we do take her for nice long walks, usually during the, when we get home from work, so that she's able to stretch her legs and run and enjoy, of course, getting outside too. And, I have children, so I'm also busy with 2 little ones that keep me on my toes. So,
Sometimes they like to get outside when it's not too cold too, just
yes.
for a change of scenery. And it's good for them too, to get used to that idea.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know if there are any other questions, but I think that's the end of our slideshow.
There was one comment, someone said, after I eat, I feel a chill because my energy goes to my stomach for about 20 minutes. That is true, that sometimes after we eat, our body is busy digesting our food. That's where a lot of our fuel goes temporarily. And then that's part of the reason I dress in layers during the winter, so that if I do feel a chill, I can put things on, take things off. Today I have a shawl kind of sweater on, because you never know.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, yes. Someone was saying that when you're doing balance exercises, if you focus on something stationary ahead, that helps you not fall over. I do that. And that's helpful. And also you can squeeze your abdominal muscles. I do that as well, to be honest. I tense them up and release them while I wait for that coffee to brew. I do a variety of things.
And
Sometimes go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I know in our Eat Smart, Live Strong workshop, I just know because I had just done it. One of the exercises we encourage there are also like chair crunches. So you can actually sit in your chair and just as you would laying down to do, a sit up or a crunch, you just cross your arms over your chest and fold forward. Also helps engage that core as well.
Yeah, I do exercises before I get out of bed in the morning, stretching. And then I also sometimes do them when I'm watching something on television, like the news. There's a lot of chair exercises. If you go online, there's lots and lots of them that you can do. Sometimes connecting them to a routine helps. Like I said, I do my stretching and balance when I'm watching my coffee brew. But it could also be, like I said, before I get out of bed, or, if you link it to brushing your teeth. I've had people that I've worked with, patients who, do stand on one foot while they're brushing their teeth. I'm not that good yet. I'm working on it. I'm not sure I would brush my teeth too well if I did that. But yeah, there's all different ways. But if you link it to something you already do, sometimes you're more inclined to remember to do it. To me, it's part of that is just, making it something I remember.
Absolutely.
So there's some other ideas people are doing too. Chair, I don't know how you say this. Qigong, maybe? I'm not sure how you say Q. There's chair Tai Chi. A lot of senior centers now offer Tai Chi at no cost as well. So there's a lot of things going on, in the communities. Sometimes you just have to look a little bit. Some of them are tied to congregate meal settings, for seniors. There's all sorts of activities going on there, sometimes combined with the meal programs.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share with us, Amanda? Because if not, I think we'll wrap it up for today.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I have anything else unless there are any other questions. I hope that everyone can take some good tips away from today and hopefully incorporate them over the next couple of weeks, since we have, according to our groundhog friend, 6 more weeks. So hopefully we can incorporate some of these to keep us warm for the time being, right?
Yes, I totally agree with you. I think we're going to have to, stick to some healthy habits for quite a few more weeks in terms of the winter months.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank Amanda for sharing her expertise and her time today. And she was an amazing guest, and we hope that she'll come back and talk with us again soon.
Yes, thank you, Lisbeth.
Oh, you're very welcome. Again, we really enjoyed having you. I also want to thank our audience for asking the questions that they did, and also for some of the comments we got. They were helpful. It's a good way to add some extra information in. because everybody has their own personal experiences that can help others. We know that the healthy choice isn't the easiest choice always, but small changes can make a big difference. And that's a big message from the SNAP-Ed program. That's something that we tell people all the time. You know, it's those small changes. And SNAP-Ed is for anyone who is SNAP eligible or is a current SNAP participant. And there are no-cost programs all over the state. And you can find information about local programming and also some great resources at snapednewyork.org. Let's see, we also hope you'll join us for next month's Ask the Experts, the Nutrition Edition. That will be on March 10th at 1 p.m. And later this month in February, we have What's Cooking with NYSOFA on February 24th at 12:30 p.m. And Wendy Beckman, who's another New York State Office for the Aging registered dietitian, will be making a great recipe. This episode of Ask the Expert, the Nutrition Edition, was funded by the United States Department of Agriculture, and that institution is an equal opportunity provider. Thank you for being with us today, and we'll see you next month.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.